So today's lesson will begin in the book of Deuteronomy, beginning in the 16th chapter in the 18th verse.
Deuteronomy 16:18. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which Jehovah thy God giveth thee, tribe by tribe, and they shall judge the people with righteous judgment. Thou shalt not wrest judgment, thou shalt not respect persons, neither shalt thou take a gift, for a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise, and pervert the words of the righteous. Justice shalt thou follow, that thou mayest live, and inherit the land which Jehovah thy God giveth thee.
Now, this is what he told us. All of these things that he laid out, it's also you can inherit the land which Jehovah thy God giveth thee. Judges and officers is rank and file. Judges and officers is when there's something too hard for you to understand, and it happens to all of us, you should follow what the judges and the officers tell you. Why? Because always, as we see in these days and times, there's somebody who's going to misinterpret the law. There's going to be people who blatantly break the law, and there should be a judgment for them. Then there's going to be some people who make mistakes. The Most High God is saying, judge the people. But don't just judge the people, judge them with righteous judgment. And at the same time, don't take a gift. You know, a gift is the thing that makes everybody think that much different about the person you're dealing with. When you give a woman flowers, why do you give them flowers? You can be giving them flowers because you love them, but you can also be giving them flowers because you messed up. The same thing for a woman concerning her ish. Maybe not concerning flowers, but you do things for people. The idea when you mess up is to display that you've changed. But the true way to display that you changed is to change your behavior, not to give a gift. Because if you give a gift and you go back and do the same thing again, you haven't changed. You're the same person. And because the person hasn't judged you, because they think you've changed, then righteousness goes out the door. And that's us as a people. Too many times do we turn a blind eye to the things that's happening. Too many times do we look to the left or the right because we say, oh yeah, but they did this. But did they really show that they changed their behavior? Did they really show that they want to become a new person? Because if they didn't, then you haven't kept Torah. Now, they haven't kept Torah, but you in turn also haven't kept Torah. Why? Because we refuse to judge each other. And people got crazy sayings. Oh, you're so judgmental. What are you supposed to be? If you don't judge the situation, if you don't make an effective decision, how can you understand how to deal with people? How is it that you're supposed to allow the same things to continue to happen and you think you'll get better? Do problems just go away? No. Can you expect that a person is not doing the right thing and then can you expect that a person has not been doing the right thing for 6 months and then in the 7th month all of a sudden they're going to start doing the right thing? It's a pattern. It's a thing that people follow. Therefore, the Most High God said, establish yourself, judges and officers. As we were out there, we had our rank and file when we left Egypt, and then Moshe's father-in-law told them to do what? He said, take men and make yourself judges and officers that will judge the smaller matters, and you judge the great matters. Captains of 50, captains of 1,000, things of that nature. People, righteous men, God-fearing individuals who will show us how to go. That's what they're talking about. That's what the Most High God is talking about here. He said it perverts the eyes of the wise. No matter how wise you think you are, no matter how much you think you know, you can become perverse by taking a gift. And the Most High God is saying that he doesn't want that. He said, justice shall thou follow, that you may live and inherit the land. And the reason why we're sitting here now is because we didn't adhere to laws like this. And it reads,
21. Thou shalt not plant thee a Asherah of any kind of tree beside the altar of Jehovah thy God, which thou shalt make thee. Neither shalt thou set thee up a pillar which Jehovah thy God hateth. Chapter 17. Thou shalt not sacrifice unto Jehovah thy God an ox or a sheep wherein is a blemish, even any evil thing, for that is an abomination unto Jehovah thy God.
An abomination. The Most High God is speaking of things that he hates. An Asherah tree. You know, God said he's jealous for his name. If you know it's something that God doesn't like, if you know it has something to do with concerning a false god, why would you bring it amongst the temple of the Most High God? Why would you associate it with something holy when the Most High God says he doesn't want these things amongst? The same thing with our friends and our associations. We're too loose. We won't judge the situation. We won't make an effective decision. Why? Because we just want to be happy and be like, yeah, we can get along with everybody. It's okay to make a distinction between yourself and everybody else. The first thing God did when he pulled us out, he made a distinction between himself and anything else we considered to be God. How was that? He made judgment upon every god that Egypt had with the 10 plagues. What did he do? He showed that indeed there's no power in them. So he judged the Nile River. He judged the frogs, and at the end, he even judged their firstborn and Paro himself, and destroyed them, to let the world know that there is none like him, and there will never be anything else like him. Yet we don't acknowledge that. And here God is saying, when you give these things to me, understanding who I am, you shall not sacrifice anything with a blemish in it. Talking about association. How can you say God is perfect and you sacrifice something to him that's not perfect? How can you give your prayer to God and it not be your best prayer? Right. How can you say there's none like God in all the earth, but you treat his Torah like it's nothing? These are things that we haven't considered. He said, wherein is a blemish, you shouldn't sacrifice it to God. So not that it says it here, but think about it. Is there a blemish in your ways? Is there something wrong with you when the Most High God commanded us all to be holy? Because if you can say yes, then you can say that there's something unacceptable that I'm giving to God. Didn't Dawid say, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my mind be acceptable before you, Yehovah, my rock and my redeemer? That's everything that you do. That's what you do, and that's what you're thinking about doing. Let that be found acceptable. Here, we haven't considered it. It's the association. It's what we're bringing along with us. That's why we need to circumcise our hearts, to take away the stony heart, to have a heart of flesh. And here we see the Most High God, he's telling you, judge these situations. Don't allow these things to go on. When you see wrong happening, do something about it. Say something about it. It reads,
verse 2. If there be found in the midst of thee, within any of thy gates which Jehovah thy God giveth thee, man or woman that doeth that which is evil in the sight of Jehovah thy God, in transgressing his covenant, and have gone and served other gods, and worshipped them,
the
or
sun,
the sun, or the moon, or any of the hosts of heaven, which I have commanded,
right?
And it be told thee, and thou hear it,
and you hear it,
then shalt thou inquire
diligently,
and behold,
if it be true,
and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought in Israel,
right?
Then shalt thou bring forth that man or
that woman
who have done this evil thing unto thy gates,
even the man or the woman,
and thou shalt stone them with stones that
they die. Remove it. Remove it. Did it say if they do it 6 times, then the 7th time you should do it? No. Did it say, you know, if their friend told them to go over there and then they just went over there because their friend went over there, but then they decided to come back, don't do it? Did it say that? I mean, maybe I'm reading the book wrong. It said, if they've gone and served other gods and worshiped them, the sun or the moon, no matter what you find yourself into, no matter how you figured you do it, stone them that they die. What is this thing that we think that it's a light thing for people to experiment? What is this thing that we think that people should be given 7, 8 chances and then enough is enough? I'm not saying don't be merciful, but what I'm saying is there's a proverbial line that people cross and we're too light on the matter. And that's what we do concerning God. God is saying get rid of it. The man or the woman. It reads.
7. The hand of the witnesses shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the people. So thou shalt put away the evil from the midst of thee.
Did you read 6? Read it again.
Verse 6. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses shall he that is to die be put to death.
Right.
At the mouth of 1 witness he shall not be put to death.
So see,
the hand of the witnesses shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the people.
So thou shalt put away the evil from the midst of thee. That's right. 2 people seen it. We know it. Do you need 20 people to see it to say, yeah, it's true? The Most High God is saying, not for 1 person, 2 people. 2 people seen it. They did it. Is it true? And then how does it go? The 2 people who seen them, if we're going to put them to death, y'all going to be the first 2 to do it. Because y'all saying y'all seen it. So don't come and talk about you don't want to do it, because you know you seen it and you know it's wrong. So if you thought it was important enough to get out of our midst, then you step up first. See, that's the thing. Ownership, responsibility for what we do, we're lacking. You know, too often we rather whisper about it. Can you believe that happened? Can you believe that happened? You seen it happen. I gotta listen to you about can I believe did it happen? I didn't see it. If you're telling me, and if you're a person of integrity, then I should believe right from when you said it, okay, this is what it is. And not that I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna be like, oh, you know, this person, you know, said such and such, and I guess that's what it is. You go and ask the person. You know, somebody told me, sister, you were wearing pants. Is it true? Now, this is one thing you got to realize. When a person is a sinner, more than likely they're a liar. And you have to accept that in your life. If a person is a sinner and they already don't want you to know that they're sinning, they're going to lie to you, they're going to deceive you in some way, shape, or form. And we have liars amongst us. We have deceivers amongst us. See, I could sit here and I could sound as great as I want to be, but the people who see me every day know how I'm living. And then there's supposed to be an understanding of if we're all together and this is what we do, then there's no snitching. What does snitching got to do with righteousness? The Most High God is sitting there talking about at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. What are you saying, that the witness is a snitch? Aid is not translated as snitch. The Hebrew word aid means a witness, a person who has seen and told, not a person who has seen and walked away. That's not an aid. This is what the Most High God is talking about here. Shall thou put away the evil from the midst of thee? Now it's either one or 2 things. Either you don't mind the evil being amongst you, or you do mind the evil being amongst you. And it reads,
8. If there arise a matter too hard for thee in judgment, between blood and blood, between plea and plea, and between stroke and stroke, even matters of controversy within thy gates, then shalt thou arise and get thee up unto the place which Jehovah thy God shall choose, and thou shalt come unto the priest the Levites, and unto the judge that shall be in those days, and thou shalt inquire, and they shall declare unto thee the sentence of judgment.
Okay. Now, listen to this here. If the matter's too hard for you in judgment, you can't make a decision. It's not clear cut. This happens in life. Between blood and blood, between plea and plea, between stroke and stroke, even matters of controversy within that gate. The Most High God is saying, when that happens, go amongst the Levites, go amongst the chief judges, and find out what's happening here. It said to go unto the priests, the Levites, and unto the judges that should be in those days, and inquire. Ask them. Now this is the thing. When you go, they shall declare unto thee the sentence of the judgment. Now listen to this now. They're telling you what to do at this point. You have already admitted you don't know what to do. You cannot sit in a position to say, I don't know what to do, then go and ask somebody what to do, then not like what they tell you to do. That's backwards. That's wicked. The Most High God is commanding you. Listen to them. It reads,
and thou shalt do according to the tenor of the sentence, which they shall declare unto thee from that place which Jehovah shall choose. And thou shalt observe to do according to all that they shall teach thee.
Right.
According to the law which they shall teach thee, and according to the judgment which they shall tell thee, thou shalt do. Thou shalt not turn aside from the sentence which they shall declare unto thee
to the right hand nor to the left. And don't go and do something else. Because then you become wicked. Don't come. Now, let me tell you how this goes. You know, 9 times out of 10, it's not that it's something clear cut in the law. It's when two people were doing something wicked, and now they're trying to determine how you're going to deal with both of them. You know, one says we were together. The other says we weren't together. What do we do? Well, somebody's lying here.
Somebody's lying.
What do we do? So you go to the judges. You know, this happened in the Tanakh, you know.
Yes, sir.
Had 2 harlots. Both of them had children. One slept on the child, and he died in the night. Went, took the child that died, put it on the other harlot's bosom, took the live child and put it next to her. But a woman knows her child. She knows she woke up to the other woman's child. And what did they do? They brought it to the king. And what did the king say? Just what they didn't expect them to say. Cut the child in half and give one to the one and the other to the other and leave me. Now that's not what they expected him to say. You just sit there and you like, that's crazy. But Solomon understood what he was doing. Because the woman whose child that was, she said, no, allow the child to be with her. Because he knew that the woman whose that child was would love that child and would not want to see anything happen to that child. But of course, the woman whose child that was dead, she was like, go ahead, split it. Kind of foolishness is that? But wicked people show their true selves when they're put under the situation. When they're put to the test, they show themselves. That's when you have matters of controversy. And that's when you say, oh, did I expect this to happen? No, I didn't expect this to happen like this. But the Most High God is saying, regardless of that, what that last judge told you to do, that's what you're going to do. And that's the end of the situation. Don't go to the right or to the left. Oh, well, when I brought this up, I just thought that person was going to be judged. How'd I get in trouble? I didn't do nothing wrong. But you already brought it forth. Sometimes we bring matters forth when we think, hey, I'm just going to get that person in trouble. But then when the whole story comes out, we find out there was some wrongdoing with you also. Oh, that's not right. This person did this. They just saying I did this. So what'd you bring the matter forward for? What, you thought it was only going to be one way? Oh, yeah. It's not going to be one way. There's going to be righteous judgment for everybody. It reads.
12. And the man that doeth presumptuously and not hearkening unto the priest that standeth to minister there before Jehovah thy God, or unto the judge, even that man shall die, and thou shalt exterminate the evil from Israel.
So wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me that if you don't listen, that's a death penalty? If you're a rebel, that's a death penalty? You ever hear people say, he know I don't listen to him, but we've been friends for years. I just do that every so often. Do you think you're worthy of death? Do you think you're worthy of death when somebody asks you to do something in the name of righteousness and you say, no, I'm not doing that? You know what's the first thing you think? Because I used to be like this. Used to being the operative word. Who are they? That's just something that he thought of. That's just something that they thought of. Not thinking, is it in reference to righteousness? Will it impact you negatively? Will you die? It's just, oh, I don't want to do that because I'm uncomfortable and I don't like the way that that person said it. You know, half the time when we don't listen to things, we start looking at all the other faults of that person. Oh, yeah, they telling us to do this, but I know that he did this and he did that, or she did this and she did that. She ain't righteous. What happened to right is right and wrong is wrong? More than likely, somebody who judges you in your lifetime will have sinned at some point in their lifetime. Now I want y'all to internalize that. Your mother, your father, the judge in the gates, the judge in your community will have sinned at some point in their lifetime. And because they've sinned at some point in their life, that doesn't mean that they're a wicked person. Because they've sinned at some point in their life, that does not mean you can't listen to them. It reads.
13. And all the people shall hear and fear and do no more presumptuously.
That's right. When you kill them, the next person's going to think, I'm not going to mess around. When they see it happen, the next person's going to think twice before they decide to do it. But you got to do something. You know, it's the thing when I say, you know, fool, not when I say, but the saying, fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice, and shame on me. Shame on me if you kick me in the butt, and then you apologize, and I say, okay, then I walk up the street and you kick me in the butt again. That's not your fault, that's my fault, because I refuse to make a decision. I refuse to deal with you in a way that's acceptable, that I won't allow you to do it anymore. Such as us. Do something about the situation so that people can see it, and let it be progressive. Let it get worse and worse till the point comes where enough is enough, so that they do no more presumptuously. They don't got to be there, and all the people shall hear and fear and do no more presumptuously. Is that really what happened? Wow, I better not. And then you start to develop what you call a righteous environment. And it reads.
When thou art come into the land which Jehovah thy God giveth thee, and shalt possess it, and shalt dwell therein, and shalt say, I will set a king over me, like all the nations that are round about me. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom Jehovah thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not put a foreigner over thee, who is not
thy brother. Man, that's so racist. Man, that's so foul. What's the problem with putting a foreigner over you? He's not you. How can, this is the thing that the logic in it eludes me. How do you expect somebody who's not amongst your people to understand the plight of your people? That's the thing I don't understand about racism. I'm like, we still waiting for white people to understand racism and the effects of racism and what racism has did to us as a people. They're never gonna understand what we've gone through, because God didn't do to them what he did to us. God did not pull them out from within a nation to be righteous. You know, when you sit down and think about it, we've never considered really what God wants out of all of this. You know, think about it. 400 years before, God told Abraham, your seed will go into a foreign nation and serve a foreign people. So does that really mean that God waited 400 years to destroy the Egyptians so he can establish us as a people? Think about it now. This is prophecy that's being said right here. We know later on, if you know your history, the children of Israel asked for a king. But way before the children of Israel asked for a king, the Most High God here gave a commandment concerning the king. And we didn't even think about that. God has this thing. God has seen everything happen already. Before we were and after we will be. And he knows how this whole thing is playing out. For him, he's watching the motions. For us, we're trying to figure it out. And here, for us, we have to understand that the Most High God intended for us to be who we are. The children of Israel. Not better whoever else you want to be. The Most High God intended for that. He said, you'll come and say, I'll set a king over me. Like all the nations that are around about me. It's right there. He already knew we didn't want to be who we were. The children of Israel. And he's saying, when you do that, I'm commanding you, do not put a foreigner over you. I'm commanding you, don't listen to them. I'm commanding you, I don't care how eloquent they are with their speech. It should be your brother. That's how we see this thing. We go and we look and we say, hey, we can listen to that person. Is that what he's telling us to do? Well, you heard the way he spoke that? I felt it in my soul. He has to be the one. If only he was an Israelite. We look in every place else instead of right in front of us. And the answer may be right in front of us. You know, when the Most High God said he'll send the seed of David again, that doesn't mean it won't be in our midst. That don't mean that we won't see that person grow and become the person that he'll become. Right. But we're still busy looking to the sky, pie in the sky, some miracle to happen, some miraculous thing to come and save us, and then we think that it'll happen. If you look at Gideon, Gideon was a person who's going to come lead the Israelites out of a certain situation. But when he was called, he was faithless. Now let me say that to you one more time. When Gideon was first called, he was faithless. His father was an idol worshiper. The people around him were idol worshipers. And when the Most High God called him, he said, let me give you this sign. He said, if it's to be that I'm supposed to do this, let the fleece sit on the ground. He said, and let it be that when the dew drops in the morning, that the fleece remains dry. And the fleece remained dry. So that should have been enough. But that wasn't enough for him. He said, this second time, let it be. If I put the fleece on the ground, he said, let there be no dew on the ground, but the dew be on the fleece only. And what happened? He woke up in the morning and he picked up the fleece and he wrung it out. And that's God. And that's what allowed him to build his faith. But according to us, how we think now, and be real with yourself, you wouldn't think that a righteous man will come from an idol worshiper. You wouldn't think that a person who was kind of wavering is going to end up having ultimate faith in God. Because he went on to take 300 men and defeat our enemies. And he didn't even bring everybody with him. We have to consider that we don't understand how God is going to do this thing. But as long as we play our part, we'll be successful. Don't worry about what they're doing out there. Don't worry about putting somebody foreign over you. Trust in your brothers and your sisters. Have faith in God that the men that he establishes to lead this nation will do just that. And that's lead this nation. It reads,
16. Only he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he should multiply horses. For as much as Jehovah has said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way.
right.
Neither shall he multiply wives to themselves, that his heart turn not away. Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. And it shall be, when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of this law in a book, out of that which is before the priests, the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear Jehovah his God, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes, to do them, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children, in the midst of Israel.
Now look at this now. Absolute power does what?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The Most High God knows this. He knows your makeup. He knows your mind. Don't multiply wives to yourselves, because it'll turn your heart away. You'll be more focused on that than on leading my people. Write a copy of this law. Don't multiply silver and gold, because you'll be more involved with what you're wearing and how much you've attained than leading this people. I'll give you riches. I'll give you gold. I'll give you women. But teach people righteousness and lead them. You see it now. People, the first thing people want to do is put on a whole bunch of jewelry and look great. That stuff is fine, but it's not forever. Your righteousness will stay with you forever. Abraham was a rich man, but we remember him more for his righteousness than what he acquired. The same with YIFTAK, the same with Yaakov. And the Most High God said it. Meditate in this law day and night. Write down a copy for yourself. Read it. How can you be an Israelite and you don't study? How can you be an Israelite and you read this book one day a week? What kind of Israelite are you? How can you say you remember this law and you don't read this law? Do you know about this law? It says that in the Tanakh. We're supposed to be the experts on this. Why? Because we live it every day. Not that you're going to know every law, not that you're going to know every precept, but you should know most of them. If we're reading the Seder through the course of the year, you should have read the entire 5 books of the Torah. It shouldn't be that something is in here that you haven't read. It shouldn't be, but that's what's going on. And he's saying for you, the king, he said make 2 copies. Not 1 copy, 2 copies. You know, when you write something down, you're more likely to remember it than if you just read it. Because you had to cause yourself to think to write this thing out. 2 copies of the law. In order that what? Your heart be not lifted up. That you're not sitting there and you're like, this is what God made me. Because the fact of the matter is, God made you great with a purpose. God made Abraham great with a purpose. God made Abraham and used him as an example for us in these days and times. But we don't think about that. God left this book and the entire record of it for a reason. For this day and for this time for us to come back. When he knew we would be in situations like these trying to return unto him. This is the same type of thing. In order for you to do what? Prolong your days. It reads,
Chapter 18. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
The priests, the Levites, even all the tribe of Levi shall have no portion nor inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offerings of Jehovah made by fire and his inheritance. And they shall have no inheritance among their brethren. Stand to minister in the name of Jehovah,
him and his sons forever. Now understand this now. This is because they stood up for his most high and his holy name in the wilderness. And when they did that, what happened was God said they'll get the best of everything of this nation forever. He said so they won't have an inheritance and they won't have a portion because they're getting what everybody else has. they're getting what everybody else, the best of what everybody else gets. If you consider it, if one person is getting what 30 other people have, that should be a rich person. When you do something like that, the Most High God is saying, there'll be the 48 Levitical cities, but outside of those 48 Levitical cities, they don't have an inheritance. They get what I'm giving them, and they'll be well off. But the fact of the matter remains is, if we don't do what we have to do, they're up a creek. If we don't do what we have to do, there'll be no first fruits for them. There'll be no cheek for them to get. There'll be no more for them to get. There'll be none of those things. There'll be no sacrifices. But with everything in its proper perspective, if you're talking about the tithe, the first of beasts, the first of animals, you get the first of man, but obviously they're redeemed through money. You get the first of corn, fruit, and all that other stuff. They'll never have a need. Whatever they need to do, all they need to do is do commerce with everybody, and they'll be fine. But here, we have to understand that the Most High God is giving them something. He's making sure that the people who take care of him, the people who take care of what he desires, he'll always take care of them. And it reads,
6. And if a Levite come from any of thy gates out of Israel, where he sojourneth, and come with all the desire of his soul unto the place which Jehovah shall choose, then he shall minister in the name of Jehovah his God, as all his brethren the Levites do, who stand there before Jehovah. They shall have like portions to eat, beside that which is his due according to the fathers' houses.
right?
When thou art come into the land which Jehovah thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, one that uses divination, a soothsayer, or an enchanter, or a sorcerer, or a charmer, or one that consulted a ghost, or a familiar spirit, or a necromancer.
4.
For whosoever doeth these things is an abomination to Jehovah, and because of these abominations Jehovah thy God is driving them out from before thee.
Now understand this now. All of these things have to do with a quote-unquote higher power. The first thing that God said was, this is how you should treat my priests and my Levites, right? Then the very next thing that he said, when you come into the land, don't learn to do what they do. Don't learn to fear what they do. Don't make your priests like their priests. Necromancy, astrology, enchanting, all things that you're saying normal people don't have the power to do. Because the priests and the Levites do things that normal people are not supposed to do. The Most High God is saying, don't make them like the people in the land about you. Because that's why they're being kicked off the land. So now who said that this law is only for the children of Israel? Who said that the nations are not sinning? The people around you have been sinning for a very long time. They've just been sent here to judge you. That's why they last so long. But their time will come. Here the Most High God is saying that don't make your son or your daughter to pass through the fire. That's an ancient religious practice.
Yeah.
That they went for Molech, the opening of the womb. That they believed that when you killed your firstborn, it would make Molech would make your wife more fruitful and you'll have more children. This has everything to do with religious practice. Uses divination. Who was that? There should be one person that jumps out to you. They brought somebody to reward the divination to destroy the children of Israel in the wilderness. He went up on the rock and he tried to curse Israel, but he could only bless them. Balaam. They went. The Most High God said, don't follow that. Even if it comes to pass, don't follow it. You know, it's one of the most amazing things to me. Deuteronomy chapter 13. It's like it flies over people's head. The Most High God said, if this dreamer of dreams, and I'm paraphrasing, if this dreamer of dreams or this prophet says something and it comes to pass, that means they said it and it happened. If he tells you, let us go and serve other gods, Most High God said, I'm testing you
That's it.
to see if you love me with all your heart, soul, and might. So guess what? There might be somebody who does divination, and what they say comes to pass. There might be somebody who's into astrology and say, let me tell you your horoscope. And it fits what happens for that day. Guess what? The Most High God is testing you to see if you love him with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And this is the same thing here. Don't consult unto ghosts and familiar spirits. I listen to people talk about the grave and what happens at the grave, and it was something different about that. Maybe so, but the Most High God said, don't involve yourself with it. He didn't say it's not true. He didn't say you won't see things or you won't feel things. He said, when you see that happening, don't deal with it. It reads,
13. Thou shalt be wholehearted with Jehovah thy God.
right?
For these nations thou art to dispossess, hearken unto soothsayers and unto diviners. But as for thee, Jehovah thy God hath not suffered thee to do so.
Right, okay, so now this is what I'm telling you, that you're going to dispossess. They listen to them. And that's why they're going. So that means when you listen to them, that means that you're going to what? Go the way that they go.
That's right.
It reads,
A prophet will Jehovah thy God raise up unto thee from the midst of thee,
from the midst of
thy
thee,
brethren,
of your
like
brothers.
unto me, unto him ye shall hearken,
Right.
according to all that thou didst desire of Jehovah thy God in Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, Let me not hear again the voice of Jehovah my God, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not.
Tosif.
And Jehovah said unto me, They have well said that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto me, and I will put my words in his mouth.
My words.
And he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him.
Tosif.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it
of him.
But the prophet that shall speak a word presumptuously in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, but that shall speak in the name of other gods, that same prophet shall die. And if thou say in thy heart, how shall we know the word which Jehovah hath not spoken?
Go ahead.
When a prophet
Speak in the name of Jehovah, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass,
that is the thing which Jehovah
has not spoken.
The prophet has spoken it
Presumptuously, thou shalt not be afraid of him. But that's happening these days and times. We see that happening all too often. People saying, I'm a prophet of the Most High God. The Most High God has sent me up on high. The angel has appeared to me. And you should listen to me. Look at what I've done. The fact of the matter remains, I don't care how great your work is. I don't care how many people you've mobilized. I don't care how many people you've empowered to do good. When you prophesy in the name of the Most High God, and it does not come to pass, you are now qualified as a false prophet. How can we sit down and listen to them?
That's right.
How can we sit down and follow them? Furthermore, shame on the person that tells us we should fear them and we should listen to them.
That's right.
Because that person has already taken us in a way that's contrary to the Most High God. Furthermore, that person has already blasphemed the name of the Most High God. Don't you know when you prophesy and it doesn't come to pass that you've caused people to believe that there is no God? Don't you know that when you hear somebody prophesy and they say that is going to happen, that you've caused people to believe that there is no power in the Most High God's hand? That's blasphemy. That's profaning the name of the Most High God. How is it that we sit in a position not to stand up against these people? How is it that we sit in a position not to speak out and say, you shouldn't listen to that person? How is it that we sit in a position that we don't judge these people and say, you can't come amongst us and say things like that anymore? But we refuse, and we're still scared. And you know why we're scared? Because we believe that we understand how God is going to do this thing. You ever see scare tactics? I mean, I look at it in reference to Christianity. Christianity is a big scare tactic. The first thing they tell you is, if you don't follow JC, you're going to hell. That's the first thing that happened. The biggest idolaters, the biggest, fakes and phonies. JC, nobody heard of a man dying and coming back to life ever. But they still maintain that he's going to rise again. Nobody ever seen a bunny lay colorful eggs. But we still maintain that Easter's going to happen. You just got to have faith. If you don't have faith, you can't believe. If you can't believe, you can't go to heaven. But why should I believe? Why should I believe when nothing that he said has come to pass? And that's why everybody mocks him. But we don't think about that in reference to God when we sit there and we say, we're the Israelites and, you should follow God and this, that, and another. And then you got a man who comes along and says, yes, I'm the Son of God. Go out to the beach because God is coming to collect us. And those who are chosen will be taken away that day. And you go out to the beach and the cameras are out there, the helicopters are hovering, and nothing happens. And we just sit back and we think that, hey, it just didn't happen. But nobody thinks about how the nations have perceived God now. Yeah. Is this what the Israelites do? Is this what the Israelites believe? Look at what they said and look at what happened. And we miss it. And here, this is exactly what God is warning us for. He said, the prophet has spoken it presumptuously. This is a false prophet. Don't get mad at the title prophet. Don't be afraid of the title prophet. The prophet is a man like me and you, except he can do different things. The Levite is a man like me and you, except he can do different things. The king is a man like me and you, except he can do different things. However, they are still required to be righteous just like me and you. Prophet may be, false prophet indeed. And it reads,
chapter 19. When Jehovah thy God shall cut off the nations, whose land Jehovah thy God giveth thee, and thou dost succeed them, and dwell in their cities and in their houses, thou shalt separate 3 cities for thee in the midst of thy land, which Jehovah thy God giveth thee to possess it. Thou shalt prepare thee the way, and divide the borders of thy land, which Jehovah thy God causeth thee to inherit, into 3 parts, that every manslayer may flee thither. And this is the case of the manslayer that shall flee thither and live, whoso killeth his neighbor unawares, and hated him not in times past. As when a man goeth into the forest with his neighbor to hew wood, and his hand fetcheth a stroke with the axe to cut down the tree, and the head slippeth from the helve, and lighteth upon his neighbor, that he die. He shall flee unto one of these cities and live. Lest the avenger of blood pursue the manslayer while his heart is hot, and overtake him, because the way is long, and smite him mortally, whereas he was not deserving of death, inasmuch as he hated him not in time past.
Now this is what's happening. He's saying, these things are going to happen.
That's right.
Sometimes you'll be unaware of why I'm taking a person away. But I will judge him and he will die. The person that killed him, unaware, is not worthy of death. Put 3 cities around your borders so that the person may flee there. Because it's very much okay for the manslayer to go out and kill him if he doesn't go there. Why? It's only common sense that even if you accidentally kill a person, that the person shouldn't continue to go up and down the street like nothing happened. It affected an entire community.
That's right.
Death is not just something that you should take lightly. And that's what they do when they see people shoot people and they send them, and they let them right back out and they put them on the street and then they kill again. What happens when they kill the second person accidentally? The third person, once you get to the second person, then you're starting to think this may just not be accidental. So yeah, you should go to the city of refuge and you should sit there for a while. Let people heal. Let the wounds heal. It may have been a mistake. After they see you've been away for a while, they may be more forgiving than when it first happened. Obviously, they're not forgiving in the first place if they send a manslayer out for you. Why? death should not be common amongst us as a people. Even if it's accidental death. It should not be a thing that we deal with vigilantism also. But the fact of the matter is that if you're foolish enough to think you just killed somebody and it doesn't affect you in any way, and you're supposed to go about your business that as if life just goes on, then there's something wrong with you. And this is what happens here. He said, send him there, and he shall live. He said, don't make it that the way is long. Because if you got to go halfway across the country to get to the city of refuge, obviously somebody's going to make a phone call. Somebody's going to have a message somewhere, and they're going to get you. And it reads,
7. Wherefore I command thee, saying, Thou shalt separate 3 cities for thee. And if Jehovah thy God enlarge thy border, as he hath sworn unto thy fathers, and give thee all the land which he promised to give unto thy fathers, if thou shalt keep all this commandment to do it, which I command thee this day, to love Jehovah thy God, and to walk ever in his ways, then shalt thou add 3 cities more for thee, beside these 3, the innocent blood be not shed in the midst of thy land, which Jehovah thy God giveth thee for inheritance, and so blood be upon thee.
Now understand it. That's what he's saying. When there's innocent blood in the land, somebody has to pay. It's not a thing that innocent blood just goes on and it's supposed to be a thing of, well, hey, it happens. Same thing with any type of judgment. It shouldn't be that we have wicked people that walk up and down and it's just, oh, hey, that's a wicked person. Something should have to be done with that person. And it reads,
11. But if a man hate his neighbor, and lie in wait for him, and rise up against him, and smite him mortally that he die, and he flee into one of these cities.
Yeah, the wicked guy. Now look at this guy. He knows there's a city of refuge. You know, the smart guy, the wise guy. Oh, I don't like him anyway. I'm going to kill him, and then I'm going to go to the city of refuge and act like that it was just an accident. There's something that should be done with him also. It reads,
Then the elders of his city shall send and fetch him thence, and deliver him into the hand of the avenger of blood, that he may die. Thine eye shall not pity him, but thou shalt put away the blood of the innocent from Israel, that it may go well with thee.
Now understand it. Bring him out. There's times where you'll make mistakes in judgment. Oh yeah, we thought he didn't do it, but some more information came out. Deal with it. Don't just be like, well, we already said X, Y, and Z, so what can we do? Ain't no such thing. We've already said X, Y, and Z. Now let's bring him back out and find out what's going on here. Let's bring her back out and find out what's going on here. No, ain't no double jeopardy. You're going to pay for what you did. Not, oh, well, you're already paying for this, so you can't pay for this. If we find out more stuff, then we're going to add more of the sentence on to you. And if we find out that this is what you did and it's worthy of you being cut off, then you need to be cut off. Not, oh, you know, it's crazy. People say, how can you bring up my past? How can I not bring up your past? What do you mean? Did you change? Did you humble yourself? Has your behavior shown that you changed? Or is it that you just don't want to be judged for what you did time and again? That you did some time ago? Because if you just don't want to be judged for what you did some time ago, if everybody was supposed to just forget about that, wrong. It don't work like that. It does not work like that. And God is saying it here. Those people who, remember when I said, it said in the Tanakh, every secret thing. Just because the Most High God brought it to light years later, that does not mean you shouldn't be judged for it. That just means it came to light years later. And it reads,
14. Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set, in thine inheritance which thou shalt inherit, in the land that Jehovah thy God giveth thee to possess it. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity, or for any sin, and any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of two witnesses, or at the mouth of three witnesses, shall a matter be established.
Go ahead.
If an unrighteous witness rise up against any man to bear perverted witness against him, Then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before Yahweh, before the priests and the judges that shall be in those days.
Right.
And the judges shall inquire diligently. And behold, if the witness be a false witness, and have testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he hath proposed to do unto his brother. So shalt thou put away the evil from the midst of thee.
Now, understand this now. This is all talking about wicked people. The person who removes his neighbor's landmark without him knowing. The person who goes up and is a false witness, saying that, yes, this happened and it didn't happen. You know how this gets started? Gossiping, whispering, all that other stuff, talking about stuff that you have no idea what's going on. I heard that X, Y, and Z is going on. Can you believe that? Yeah. And they want to go and they say that you can't do this and you can't do that, but look at how they living. That's how this stuff gets started. You false witness. Did they do that? Then it always comes back later. You like, it seems like this person is looking at me funny, but why is this person looking at me funny? Oh, she don't like the way that I'm dealing with my wife. And my wife was giving them false information of how she perceived the situation. Oh, well, I only said that because I heard. What do you mean you heard? That's why I said the judges inquired diligently. Go ask the person, did you do this? And what is your purpose of whispering? What is your purpose of gossiping? Do you want him or her to change their behavior, or do you just want to talk about the person? Do you want somebody to believe that we're all wicked, so don't judge you because I'm doing my wickedness while you're doing your wickedness? What is this about? What are we trying to achieve? Don't sit there and be like, oh, I heard this and I heard that. Deal with it as is. If you know you don't like something that somebody's doing and you feel that they're doing, ask them about it. Brother, I just wanted to know, do you do this? Do you cause people to believe this? Is it that you don't wear your fringes during the week? I'm just telling you, if I see you without your fringes on, I'm going to come and ask you. I notice you don't wear your fringes. Is there any reason why you don't wear your fringes? You could tell me, I don't like wearing fringes. Then okay, fine, then I know how to deal with you. And that's fine. I mean, it happens. I think I seen an Israelite this week. I was like, man, if I got to look twice to think, do you have on fringes? That's saying something about you. If I got to sit there and think twice about how you dress, that's saying something about you. You ever see a woman with something so tight on, you're like, you telling me you didn't know better than that before you left the house? But that's what goes on. And 9 times out of 10, you think about it more when it's somebody's wife. You're sitting there and you're like, I don't want to look at his wife like that. Not that you find yourself involved in looking at the person's wife like that, but you're sitting there and you're like, the fact that you looked at his wife and you sat there and thought, wow, that's something too tight. I shouldn't have to think that. Not only about his wife, but any Israelite sister. But it's what goes on. I shouldn't have to think, is that what you wore today, brother? I shouldn't have to think, that's too tight. You ever see somebody that's androgynous? See somebody that you don't know whether it's a boy or a girl, a man or a woman. You're just like, whoa. And now you're staring because you're like, what exactly is happening right now? That's a direct result of how you dress. That's a direct result of your mannerisms and how you present yourself. But we don't want to accept that. We still think, oh, hey, that's just me. The Most High God is talking about these people who are contrary to the law. Here you have it. You don't want anybody to know you moved your neighbor's landmark. Nobody knows, but you're still wrong. Nobody knows you're a false witness. But when it comes out that it's a false witness, or we did that to that person after you witnessed against them falsely, now what we did to them, will do to you. Why? Because you shouldn't have opened your mouth knowing that you didn't have no idea what was going on. This is what happens. And it reads,
Verse 20. And those that remain shall hear and fear, and shall henceforth commit no more any
Evil.
such evil in the midst of thee.
right?
And thine eye shall not pity.
Don't pity them.
Life for life.
Life for life.
Eye for eye.
Uh-huh.
Tooth for tooth.
Hand for hand, foot for foot. You went and you did an evil thing. Don't pity them because now they're crying. Don't pity them because now they're like, I can't believe I did that. I'm so sorry. Guard your mouth and guard your tongue. Don't be quick to speak up when you know you don't have enough information. If you think there's something that needs to be said, go and tell a person, hey, listen, nobody's going to be mad at you if you say, hey, listen, not for nothing, but I seen the brother wearing a skirt during the week. I was the only one there. I'm not saying it was definitely him, but that's what I thought I seen. I'll be willing to go and confront the brother and ask him in front of everybody because I was very disturbed at seeing that, and I don't think that should happen in Israel. Is anybody going to be mad at that?
No, it shouldn't.
Nobody's going to be mad at that. Except the person with the skirt. It reads,
Chapter 20. Hallelujah.
hallelujah.
When thou goest forth to battle against thine enemies, and seest horses and chariots, and a people more than thou,
Right.
thou shalt not be afraid of them.
Right.
For Jehovah thy God is with thee,
Right.
who brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
Right.
And it shall be, when ye draw nigh unto the battle, and the priest shall approach and speak unto the people, and
Right.
shall say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye draw nigh this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your heart faint,
Right.
fear not, nor be alarmed, neither be ye affrighted
Frighted at
at
them.
them. For Jehovah your God is he that goeth with you to fight for you against your enemies to save you.
Tosif.
And the officer shall speak unto the people, saying, What man is there that hath built a new house and have not dedicated it? Lest
Go
it-
home. Go ahead.
Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicate it.
Okay.
And what man is there that hath planted a vineyard and have not used the fruit thereof?
Go home.
Let him go and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man use the fruit thereof.
Tosif.
And what man is there that hath betrothed a wife and have not taken her?
Let him go
and
home.
return unto his house, lest he die in battle, and another man take her.
And
And the officers shall speak further unto the people, and they
Right.
shall say, What man is there that is
Fearful
fearful
and
and
faint-hearted?
faint-hearted? Let him go and
Go
return unto
home.
his house, lest his brethren's heart melt as his heart.
as his heart. If you're distracted, if you got other things on your mind, it's okay. Go home. We understand. Do what you got to do. We don't want you out there, we're battling, and you're thinking about going home. I didn't think the war was going to be this long. I didn't think that it would be this hard to destroy our enemies. It's okay. Go home. We don't need everybody. We want those who have courage. Because the last thing we want is to know that we're fighting and then we got people who are wishy-washy. We got people who don't have any courage. We got people who are sitting there like, how do we really know we're supposed to be out here? How do we really know that God is going to give us this battle? I thought you just said that God said he was going to save us, but it didn't happen in 2 months now. That's not the sign of a warrior. And obviously you're not built for this. Go back home, because I don't want you. I believe in loyalty. I believe in dedication. I believe if that we're out together, you're supposed to have my back. And if you don't got my back, and if you don't feel I'm living righteously, and you don't feel your righteousness can take you that far, go home. This is the same thing with this. If you know that you love your wife, even if you didn't just betroth her, if you know that your whole heart is for your wife and your children, and all you want to do is stay home, then stay home. Somebody else can take your spot. Obviously, building up this nation is not for you. Unfortunate realities in life. You have a child. What are you going to do? Your child is like, I don't want to do that. Okay. Well, then what are you going to do? That's a fair and an honest question. What are you going to do? Because whatever you think you're going to do, it's not going to happen here. Whatever you think you don't like about the Israelites, and I'm not an Israelite, I'm a Presbyterian, or whatever you feel you are, you're not going to be that here. It's not going to be a thing that you're an Israelite when you're around me, and then when you're around your friends, you're a Negro. If you think there's something out there for you, go ahead and do it. But it can't happen here. If you think there's something else that's better for you, go and do it. It's just that we're fighting internally with ourselves. Right. Why? Because the person who does that actually doesn't know what they want to do. Right. They just want to be a rebel. Yep. And it reads,
verse 9, and it shall be when the officers have and it shall be when the officers have made an end of speaking unto the people, that captains of hosts shall be appointed at the head of the people.
Right.
When thou drawest nigh unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it.
Right.
And it shall be, if it make the answer of peace and open unto thee, then it shall be that all the people that are found therein shall become tributary unto thee, and shall serve
you. Right.
And if it will make no peace with thee, but will make war against thee, then thou shalt besiege it. And when Jehovah thy God delivereth it unto thy hand, thou shalt smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword.
Right.
But the women and the little ones and the cattle and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, shalt thou take for a prey unto thyself, and thou shalt eat the spoil of thine enemies, which Jehovah thy God hath given thee.
So see,
thus shalt thou do unto all the cities which are very far off from thee, which are not of the cities of these nations. Howbeit, of the cities of these people that Jehovah thy God giveth thee for an inheritance, thou shalt save alive nothing that breatheth.
Right.
But thou shalt
utterly destroy them. Who?
The Hittite,
your enemy,
the Amorite,
your enemy,
the Canaanite,
the enemy,
the Perizzite,
enemy,
the Hivite,
enemy,
the Jebusite,
enemy,
as Jehovah thy God
has commanded thee, that they
teach you
not to do
after
all their abominations,
for they have done
unto their gods, and so ye sin against Jehovah your God. The first thing when we went into the land, God said, get rid of them. God said, they're sinners, and they're going to teach you to be sinners. God said, don't marry them, because they're going to send your sons and your daughters astray. He said, if they go in there and they proclaim peace, who are you still killing, even after they proclaim peace? The males. Kill them. Everybody else can serve you, but the males, their strength, destroy them. They cannot. We cannot coexist. That's just how it is. Accept it. Don't continue to fight it. But if indeed you proclaim peace, and they don't, not indeed if you proclaim peace, you ask them if they're going to proclaim peace, and if you don't, he's saying destroy it. Burn it. Don't remember anything about it. Said, because eventually what's going to happen? Said, everything that they've done to their gods, you're going to do to your God, and you're going to sin. It reads,
19. When thou shalt besiege a city a long time, and make a war against it to take it, thou shalt not destroy the trees thereof by wielding an axe against them, but thou mayest eat of them. But thou shalt not cut them down, for it is the tree of the field man that it should be besieged of thee. Only the trees of which thou knowest that they are not trees for food, them thou mayest destroy and cut down, that thou mayest build bulwarks against the city that maketh war with thee until it fall.
Until it fall. Which the Most High God is saying here, basically, be aware of the environment around you. Don't destroy the trees that you eat from, that feed you, that I put in the earth. Right. Said the tree that's not being used, that you can use for a bulwark to take over a city. Right. But other than that, don't destroy the environment. It reads,
chapter 21.
Read it out.
If one be found slain in the land which Jehovah thy God giveth thee to possess it, lying in the field, and it be not known who have smitten him, then thy elders and thy judges shall come forth, and they shall measure unto the cities which are round about him that is slain.
Right.
And it shall be that the city which is nearest unto the slain man, even the elders of that city shall take a heifer of the herd, which have not been wrought with, and which have not drawn in the yoke. And the elders of that city shall bring down the heifer unto a rough valley, which may neither be plowed nor sown, and shall break the heifer's neck in the valley. And the priests, the sons of Levi, shall come near, for them Jehovah thy God hath chosen to minister unto him, and to bless in the name of Jehovah, And according to their word shall every controversy and
And
every
every
stroke
stroke be, right?
And all the elders of that city, who are nearest unto the slain man, shall wash their hands over the heifer whose neck was broken in the valley.
Now this right here is what you call ritual and acceptable before the Most High God. They're sitting there and they're giving a sacrifice because they don't know who slain this person. So they're killing the animal and they're washing their hands over it. Why? To say that my hands are clean, that I have not killed this animal, it's not our fault. It reads.
7. And they shall speak and say, our hands have not shed this blood, neither have our eyes seen it. Forgive, O Jehovah, thy people Yisrael, whom thou hast redeemed, and suffer not innocent blood to remain in the midst of thy people
Innocent
Yisrael.
blood again. Go ahead.
And the blood shall be forgiven them.
Right?
So shalt thou put away the innocent blood from the midst of thee, when thou shalt do that which is right in the eyes of Jehovah.
Judgment is all about doing that which is right in the eyes of the Most High God. Understanding what the Most High God wants from us as a people. Understanding that there's no such thing as it's nobody's fault. Somebody is always at fault. And even when nobody knows who did it, there's a sacrifice for that also. But we have to take ownership for the things we do, for who we are as a people, and become who the Most High God wants us to be. A righteous people that would teach the world of righteousness, that would uplift, praise, and glorify His Most High and holy name. Hoping that you got something out of what I said, that the Most High God found these words acceptable to be spoken before His people. As I bid you all on the tongue of my forefathers, Shabbat Shalom L'Kol.
Shabbat Shalom.